Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and upending the current thought paradigm. I'm just changing things up, guys. There's all kinds of things adjacent, and there are always all kinds of things adjacent. So we're going to continue talking about what's going on with crop losses and the situation in the Midwest due to severe weather, extreme weather events, cascading extreme weather events, which are causing a lot of damage and getting people pretty anxious about the near future of food supply. Crop-tastrophe is in the Midwest. Latest USDA progress report signals nightmare scenario. This is from Zero Hedge. From May 27th. The last 12 months have been the wettest in all of U.S. history, and this has created absolutely horrific conditions for U.S. farmers. Thanks to endless rain and historic flooding that has stretched on for months, many farmers have not been able to plant crops at all. And a lot of crops that have already been planted are deeply struggling. What this means is that the U.S. agricultural production is going to be way, way down this year. The numbers that I'm about to share with you are deeply alarming, and they should serve as a wake-up call for all of us. The food that each of us eats every day is produced by our farmers, and right now, our farmers are truly facing a nightmare scenario. I also just wanted to quickly interject. Interestingly, I was at the store the other day, and a lot of things, a lot of shelves were missing a lot of things, and I don't know if that was just that they hadn't restocked recently, but it just made me a little nervous. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the result of this, and obviously food prices are going up, if anybody has noticed. Anyways, the numbers that I'm about, the food, I just read that. The food that each of one of us eats every day is produced by our farmers, and right now our farmers are truly facing a nightmare scenario. Last year, 78% of all corn acreage had been planted by now. This year, the number is sitting at 49%, and the percentage of corn that has emerged from the ground is a paltry 19% compared to 47% at this time last year. We see similar numbers when we look at soybeans. Last year, 53% of all soybean acreage had been planted by now. This year, that number has fallen to 19%, and the percentage of soybeans that have emerged from the ground is just 5%. Compared to 24% of this at this time last year. In other words, we're going to have a whole lot less corn and soybeans this year. Farmers in the middle of the country desperately need conditions to dry out for an extended period of time, but so far that has not happened. In fact, last week the heartland was hit by yet another string of devastating storms. The following comes from CNN. 10 people are dead and a 4-year-old boy remain missing after more than a week of severe weather across central U.S. that put millions of people at risk. Tens of people. The deadly spring storm system ravaged several states, unleashing more than 170 reported tornadoes, fierce winds, drenching rain, flash flooding, and hail. One of the tornadoes that was spawned absolutely devastated the capital of Missouri. It was reportedly a mile wide, and it stayed on the ground for almost 20 miles. A clearer picture emerged Friday of the size and scope of the powerful tornadoes that tore across Missouri on Wednesday night, leaving a trail of destruction in their path. The state's capital, Jefferson City, was among the hardest hit places, struck overnight by a tornado with a peak wind speed of 160 miles per hour that has been given a preliminary rating of EF3. The monstrous nighttime tornado that struck Jefferson City, a city with a population of about 42,000, was almost a mile wide and was on the ground for nearly 20 miles, toppling homes, ripping roofs off homes and business below. What we are witnessing is definitely not normal, and I've had a number of readers write to me about this recently. The other day, one of my readers in Montana sent me a photograph of a freak May snowstorm that had just hit his area, and another one of my readers in Missouri explained that his boss is freaking out because they haven't been able to get soybeans in the ground. All over the country, people want answers. They want answers. And they are frustrated with the lack of information that they are getting from the mainstream media. One of the viewers of this channel actually remarked, and I forget who, and I'm sorry, remarked I believe they're in Denver, in Colorado, but there was a May snowstorm in Colorado as well. It got quite cold, and they got a lot of storm in May. Unfortunately, the truth is that things are going to get worse. Global weather patterns are dramatically shifting, and there's nothing that the authorities will be able to do to stop it from happening. So yes, they are not going to tell you what's going on if they absolutely don't have to. It isn't just the United States that we're seeing widespread crop failures. I would encourage you to check out my previous article entitled Floods and Drought Devastate Crops All Over the Planet. I read that one, I believe. In that article, I discussed the fact that Australia will actually be importing lots of wheat this year. Yes, that was the article I read. Over in Asia, the biggest problem right now is African swine flu. Earlier today, I came across a CNBC article which stated that up to 200 million Chinese pigs may have already been lost to this nightmarish disease. A trade fight with the U.S. is the only way China is fighting. China is fighting. African swine flu has decimated the pig population in China and sent pork prices soaring. As many as up to 200 million Chinese pigs have reportedly been lost due to the disease. African swine flu has spread to other countries such as Vietnam and Cambodia, and so this pandemic could soon become a true global cataclysm. Good Lord. Moving on. Another country is rejecting recycling, which is going to make the problem of plastic much, much worse. Malaysia to send 3,000 tons of plastic waste back to countries of origin. The U.S., the world's top exporter of plastic waste, is among 14 countries that the plastic originated from, Malaysian officials said. In Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia will send as many as 3,000 tons of plastic waste back to the countries it came from, the environment minister said on Tuesday. The latest Asian country to reject rich countries' rubbish. Malaysia last year became the world's main destination for plastic waste after China banned its import, disrupting the flow of more than 7 million tons of trash a year. Dozens of recycling factories have cropped up in Malaysia, many without operating licenses, and communities have complained of environmental problems. Yao Bin Yin, Minister of Energy, Technology, Science, and Environment and Climate Change, he's Minister of all those things, Energy, Technology, Science, Environment, and Climate Change, said 60 containers of trash that had been imported illegally would be sent back. These containers were illegally brought to the country under false declaration and other offenses which clearly violates our environmental law. Yao told reporters. After inspecting the shipments at Port Klang on the outskirts of the capital, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte last week ordered his government to hire a private shipping company to send 69 containers of garbage back to Canada and leave them within its territorial waters if it refuses to accept them. Wow. Canada says the waste exported to the Philippines between 2013 and 2014 was a commercial transaction done without government consent. Canada had agreed to take the rubbish back, but Duterte lost patience as arrangements were being made and ordered it out. Malaysian officials have identified at least 14 origin countries, including the United States, Japan, France, Canada, Australia, and Britain for its unwanted waste. Excuse me. A recycling company based in Britain had exported as much as 50,000 tons of plastic waste to Malaysia in the past 2 years without identifying the firm. And a picture of garbage in Malaysia. This is going to be a problem. Where do we put this stuff? And guess what happens to this, how much of this is just being dumped or will be dumped because nobody wants to deal with this. Oops. Over the side. This from England, Extinction Rebellion Heathrow. Activists plan to use drones for a 10-day airport shutdown this summer. They are escalating their actions. Extinction Rebellion activists are planning to shut down Heathrow Airport for 10 days this summer by flying drones near the airfield. The climate change activists vowed to stage demonstrations on June 18th and again for 10 days, beginning on July 1st, disrupting flights at a peak time for holiday makers. Threatening to bring the UK's busiest airport to a standstill, they are demanding the immediate cancellation of plans to build a third runway at the transport hub. The Met Police responded by promising firm action against any protester seeking to cause disruption. Activists warned that those who are booked to fly from Heathrow around the time of its protest to change their travel plans. A document circulated by activists on social media read, "Rebels will use a variety of nonviolent tactics to close down the airport again, including but not limited to the flying of drones and blocking of public roads leading into the airport." It comes after the group staged protests at the same airport over the Easter break, which were part of wider demonstrations aimed at bringing central London traffic to a halt. Outlining its latest plans, which the group are set in the consultation stage, Extinction Rebellion said, on June 18th, we plan to carry out nonviolent direct action to ensure Heathrow authorities close the airport for the day to create a pause in recognition of the genocidal impact of high carbon activities such as flying upon the natural world. Genocidal indeed. Closing down an airport and stopping the construction of an airstrip might seem, it's spitting into the industrial civilization wind at this moment, but still, it's raising awareness. And obviously, if we really are serious about fighting climate change or mitigating climate change, we need to shut down pretty much all construction right now, unless we're, talking about constructing carbon capture technologies or things that are directly related to mitigating climate change. But as far as just constructing more things in the service of industrial civilization, those things need to stop. Roads, buildings, bridges, everything must stop if we're even going to have a chance. And nobody's even talking about this right now. So yes, their aim is to start a conversation or increase awareness around this, and Godspeed and more power to Extinction Rebellion for continuing their fight against the evil maw of industrial civilization and runaway capitalism, and soon to be runaway greenhouse effect. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace.